Welcome back to Fire to Fork. That's a little bit of boiling water, because there's nothing more boring than boiling water on camera. And today we're going to be making banh mi for dinner. Now it's not dinner time, it's breakfast time. I haven't even had a coffee yet, but I forgot to do this yesterday, so I'm doing it now, and that's plenty of time. In fact, an hour is plenty of time, really. But, you know, the longer the better. So, what we're going to do now is make the pickles for the banh mi. So, we'll start with some carrots. In fact, no, what we're going to do actually is start with the jar mix. So, we want a cup of water. I always use hot water for this, because it helps dissolve things. Then you want a quarter of a cup of sugar. So I always use these little individual things. Obviously, if you're more organized, you can get like a good Tupperware or something if you use it a lot. But I just tend to use small things of sugar, small amounts of sugar, so I tend not to bring a big packet of it. And these little things are great because they measure out exactly a teaspoon for you. And if, like you're like me, the sugar thing breaks, which it has in my pantry, doesn't matter, they're all self-contained. Then I just throw all the paper on the fire. Looks about right. Half a cup of vinegar, white vinegar. You can use rice wine vinegar or you can just use normal white vinegar. Don't use brown vinegar. These are good for traveling, by the way. These are Cornells, because they're plastic and squishy, so they don't break. I like this jar. Okay. Now, carrots. It'd be great to have a mandolin or something, but we're in the bush, so we use what we've got. We want spears about, I don't know, 2 centimeters kind of thing. You cut them in half, and we're going to just cut these as fine as possible with a sharp knife. I'm actually going to use my little knife for this because this is quite precise. It's not that sharp. I need to sharpen it. This is just the sharpener from Osprey, and it works really well. Much better. Bear in mind, this is a banh mi for me in the bush, not for, you know, I'm not serving this in a restaurant. If I was, I would absolutely be using a mandolin. Now, you also are supposed to add daikon, or Chinese radish, or whatever you want to call it. I couldn't find that in the supermarket, and one of my rules is if I can't get it in the supermarket, it doesn't go in the recipe. So there's no daikon in this, it's just going to be carrot and spring onion. Also need a tablespoon of salt. I'm going to go 2 tablespoons because I think I'm going to have to add more of everything else. A bit more vinegar, a bit more water, a bit more sugar. Next we want some spring onion in there. So most of 2 spring onions. This is a good thing to do at home, by the way. I'll see you in a few hours. Yes, we have changed scenes. Now, I don't know what it is about this meal, but it seems to be this cursed meal, and I love banh mi's, and I've made them before. But I have tried 3 times to film this. One of the times I burnt it because my dog went off and chased something and I ran after him and I came back and the wind picked up and it burnt the meal. Then the next time I went and caught up with a friend quickly, and then we came back to camp and we had a couple more beers, and then all of a sudden 2 hours later, when it was time to film, I quickly realized that I was in no condition to give anyone advice about anything at all. So, yeah, that's what happened. Anyway, we're going to finish this meal. It's actually the same piece of meat from 3 days ago when I was down south. And I'm not allowed to have a fire here, but I am allowed to have a charcoal barbecue. So, it's exactly what I'm going to do. And by the looks of some of the cars around here, seems like glass barbecues are on the menu as well. Now, going to get some charcoal. This is a Bichitan style charcoal, but not actual Bichitan charcoal. Light the tinder shreds. It's bloody windy here, so make sure you've got some sort of a jet lighter or a guard. I'm just going to stack it up on top. We'll get that going. We'll pour some more around it. And that's that. Give that about 15, 20 minutes. Actually, perfect day for it. Sour, so I've got like Southwest Sour, which is one of my favorites from CBco. And it's hot days. If you've never tried a sour beer, wait till it's a hot day and then try it. It just makes sense. The thing I thought I'd be worried about today was the bloody wind. It's not, it's the bees. The bees are everywhere. Anyway, gone and got myself a beautiful rolled pork belly. So it's a lot smaller than your standard rolled piece of pork because it's just the belly, bones out and everything. I went to Bully Butcher, who is actually the same family as Rob's Craft Butchery. They're brothers. So I've had to bend a couple of these skewers in because it is quite small, and that's fine. You kind of just need one in for something this small. So this is the Osprey rotisserie kit I'm using. All right, that sort of holds it enough, I think. There we go. Now I'll get the, if you've got one of these Osprey motors, by the way, take the batteries out when you're in transit because they can click on in transit. Or just always carry a spare set, and also always carry a spare set. So you leave these loose when you put it on so it can line up. Charcoal's not fully lit, but it's lit enough. And off we go. This is probably going to take about an hour, I'd say. Man, the bees. I'm going to show you some close-ups of these bees. This is Fred's water bowl, all the bees in it. I've put a decoy bit of water over here, ow, which has not worked. I was hoping they'd go in that. I've got my beer in a cup because this keeps happening. Beer can filled up with bees. There are 2 dead bees in there now. You see that? Probably can't. So it's just a real pain. All right, so that's been on for about an hour and a bit, hour and a quarter, I'd say. It was crackled after about 15 minutes. I will admit I did have to put a little piece of wood on there just to get a little bit of flame, a little bit of extra heat. And because it's not on there completely straight, because I didn't pay attention, I just kind of stopped and started the motor a little bit to get it to stop in the right spots and just crackle evenly. Move the heat around back and forth. You just need to watch it. It takes about 5 minutes for it to crackle. So during that process, you just need to set your heat in certain places, increase it in certain places, account for the wind. So if the wind's blowing one direction, you put all the fire in the direction the wind's coming from so that it blows evenly along the piece of meat. It's just one of those things that you just have to sit there and baby and pay attention to. It's not a set and forget at all. And that's totally fine. That's not what I was after. So what I might do, I'm going to rest that on here, but also need to cut some stuff up on here. So I might quickly cut this stuff up. Now I'm making Bahn-mi wraps because Bahn-mi, like proper Bahn-mis, have require this bread that goes off in about 10 seconds. If you don't know, Bahn-mi is like the greatest fusion of cultures ever. If you've ever been to Vietnam, you'll know there's a huge French influence. It's a French colony. So there are patisseries everywhere, boulangeries, and basically the baking side of things is very French in Vietnam. So that's where this came from. This was using the French bread, which is similar, very similar to what we get, to create a sandwich with some French ingredients and some very Vietnamese ingredients, like coriander and the pork and stuff's very Vietnamese. And then of course the pate is very French. So we want to cut these into sort of spears. Get that off. I didn't bring a thermometer, but I think it's supposed to get to like 69 degrees, I think, internal. But I just got it crispy and then left it on for 40 minutes and throw it on. The bees have still just been shocking. I mean, it is crispy. Sounds unreal. Suppose we want. Okay, a little bit of coriander. I like lots of coriander, I'll be honest. If you don't like coriander, don't put it in your banh mi. It's a very simple one, really. Oh, I forgot my chili. I had a whole chili. It's alright. Sriracha always saves the day. Got my pickled veg. I'll try with that actually. Yep. That's our pickled veg. Good. I'm just going to quickly take a chunk out of this and see what happens. Yep, that's cooked through. This has all been pre-seasoned. If yours hasn't been pre-seasoned, my butcher did it. But it hasn't been. You just smell the salt and pepper. Great. They've done some salt, pepper, and garlic, which is also great. Oh, lovely. Gotta get the crispiest pieces, just because it's the raw. Skin. So, pate. You can use any kind of pate you want, as long as it's chicken pate. You don't like pate? Some people use avo. Shout out to Alpha Blokes. I've tried it. I like pate more. Cucumber spears, lots of coriander. You don't cut it up small, you're using big long bits. Want some bits of spring onion, I like pickled spring onion. Carrot. Yeah. Not too much mayo because a lot of that's done by the the pate. Bit of sriracha instead of raw chili. I would have preferred raw chili, but that's alright. Get that. I do like sriracha in this though. Just want to be clear, I do like sriracha in a banh mi wrap. Alright, I think gratuitous B-roll just like that is in order. Let's do it. This is such a cool wrap. If I'm not having bread, then I'm filling it up with all the good stuff. That's the best wrap I've ever made. It's crispy. It's good. You know when the pork belly is perfect, it sticks to your teeth a little bit, the skin does. The fat, and it's all rendered down, it's soft. The veggies are super fresh. It's a bit spicy, it's creamy. It's everything I wanted in a wrap and much more. That's unbelievably good. I am totally going to do this again. Yes, it takes some time, but I'm not missing the bread. I'm really not missing the bread. I will totally do this for dinner, especially for a few of you. I will also say that doing banh mi's yourself is one of the dumbest things you can do. They're like $10. Get the professionals to do it usually, but if you're out in the bush, you want to treat yourself, treat your mates, and have that familiarity. It's kind of like doing a really good burger. You get that kick, you get that hit that you want to, in that familiarity of like good greasy food. This is that. This is magic. Goes very well with beer. I've only had a banh mi and beer once before. Fat Brewing did it. And the Spectrum's not too far from my house. I tried it and I was like, yeah, this works. Boy, just have banh mi's for lunch. This for dinner, just do it. Oh. Alright. I'm gonna smash this. Get out of the bees. Put fire out. Not fire, but barbecue out. Like dumping in the ocean. And enjoy myself for the rest of the day. Cheers. See you later.